Let's get right into this draft.
And while the draft's going off, let's run through the rosters of both teams. We've got NFG first here with the first ban of the day. WL Freshburger, One Hand One, Zarkana, Fishbait, and Titania. Opening off with an Ash ban, followed by a Rengar ban from Mortal Will, whose roster comprised of Neon Fire, Towel Dog, Chancer Lemons, Red Saturn, and Beyond Godly.
And I mean, I really like this Ash ban coming out. You know, we've seen a lot of priority on especially Ash, Sen, and Caitlyn, which are both like the very big priority AD carries here. So I really like that they're taking off the Ash first and setting up probably for a pick of an AD carry first, I imagine, as they're going to try to whittle down the pool, I assume. And Shen ban also pretty nice. You know, Shen very strong. Crashes a lot of parties, so I do like those two bans already.
Shen's global presence always a huge threat on any team, but following with the set ban coming from Iceborn, he's been struggling a little bit, but like when you see him in full damage, he still does quite a bit and very annoying to deal with. So
definitely, you can't understate the utility that Set brings, right? The ultimate being able to just dive into your back line, the Facebreaker bringing so much damage along with utility that I feel like it's a very justified ban in this scenario. Especially with the power that he has, being basically able to be flexed into every role essentially except for AD carry.
And then you see here, to round out the bans with Graves and Thresh, Graves being an always seemingly permanent threat in the jungle, always strong, a lot of early game pressure, who can transition very well into the mid game, and then Thresh, who is a jack of all trades support.
Definitely, I mean, considering that there have been a lot of top lane bans, a lot of jungle bans here, I would like to see something like, a Nidalee Hover, and that's going to be the first pick. So, I mean, they ban out the Graves to pick up the Nidalee, which, you know, two very high priority junglers right now, and this Nidalee first pick will definitely be something interesting to keep our eyes on.
Let the claws come out when the spears fly, as I say, when I see Nidalee.
Exactly.
But followed up with a Lucian. Lucian has been flexed.
Yeah, and this is one of the things I wanted to mention, is that I mean, when you look at Lucian, he's basically one of the strongest champions right now in the meta, because of the power that he has being able to be flexed into all three of the lanes, along with just his power in all three of those lanes. So I'm surprised that he got to the draft, but I do like that Iceborn Winners Queue does pick him up. Sorry, no, not Iceborn Winners Queue. Yeah, sorry, that Iceborn Winners Queue does pick him up. Sorry.
Because then they followed it up with a Kindred, which surprisingly, when you see a Graves ban, usually it's before the Kindred, because Kindred's one of the few champions that can actually deal with Graves very well.
Yeah, I mean, she can match a lot of his early damage, especially if you take something like the Press the Attack or the Conqueror. You can out damage him if he does choose to take something like the Phase Rush. But anyway, yeah, two flex pick and the jungler picked up, along with another flex pick on the other side. But if the Jhin does get locked in, that will basically confirm that the Syndra's going into mid lane. So we won't be seeing any bottom lane, any mage bot shenanigans today.
And that really only leaves like the top lane and the support, which are two roles you really don't want to get counted in.
And if this is a Leona picked up, Leona gets picked up, so already that's going to be a very strong lane, especially for someone like this Jhin to deal with. If he does get caught out, essentially zero mobility, so if a Solar Flare lands down on him, this Lucian will just be able to collapse on him, and if they follow it up with a lot more, already we're seeing a lot of hard engage with this Leona. So yeah, decent draft all around. The Morgana ban I like it. Ornn also a very good ban, I feel, because of just the power that he has, especially since no top laners have been locked in.
Not to mention it brings a decent amount of AP magic damage and CC to go along with this pretty much full damage comp so far between the Lucian and Kindred. with just a bunch of CC coming from Leona. But it's a lot of team fight, a lot of setup that they've got going on there on the side of Iceborn, with a lot of poke so far coming out from NFG.
Yeah, especially with these Nidalee spears and the Jin W's, you'll be able to catch out a lot. I assume that they'll be able to. They're playing a lot more poke heavy, while we're seeing a very team fight heavy comp already. This Lucian, this Kindred, the Leona there to start off the fights. So the cannon ban, I feel like I really like it. They've already got so much. There's already so much engage on the side with the Leona that if you get like a cannon in there who flashes in with a slicing maelstrom, you're just not gonna have a fun time.
No, because it looks like they're just trying to create. See, even with that, the Misfortune, you've got another great team fighting champion, which means that Lucian is probably going mid, if you were to ask me. Or
yeah, most likely.
He's definitely one of the solo laners if you're looking at Misfortune Leona bot, which personally I consider one of the strongest bot lanes right now.
Oh, most definitely. If you hit 6, Leona just throws down the Solar Flare, you pull out the bullet time with the Misfortune, and you're just going to destroy most people.
But then you see the interesting pickup of Braum, who can pretty much negate Misfortune's ultimate as far as it being an AoE cleave.
Most definitely. You get in there with the door, hold it up, and you're stopping bullets. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works in real life, but sure.
If only. But let's see how NFG decides to round it out with a Malphite, which actually brings their team comp together, because now they've got plenty of frontline between Malphite and Braum, and Engage from the same two champions to set up for all of the skill shots that they have coming from the backline.
Definitely. If you get Malphite flashing in with the ultimate, there are so many squishy members on the side of Iceborn Winners Queue, and also, I'm going to guess that this is... Oh, alright, well I was going to say that this is a Lucian top, but no, alright, we'll see the Lucian locked in for the mid lane. Some magic damage picked up with the Maokai, and otherwise, both very similar, both very similar, very relaxed drafts. I do give the edge over to Iceborn Winners Queue, because I feel like they're just going to be able. There's so much. Oh, well, dodge, but they had so much engage there. Set up with the you can set up with the Maokai R. You can set up for the Misfortune ultimate, and there's so much CC that's going to give that bullet time just so much power in this lane. And as there is a dodge,
the word from the backline is the support's client crashed, so it's a little bit difficult to kind of say what's going on as far as that, but we'll be right back through it momentarily.
Hopefully, Riot can fix their clients one of these days. That would be marvelous.
Do you guys want to talk, or do you want me to fix this first?
I think we can go off.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about in this draft, especially even though the game did end up crashing before. Okay, yeah, the draft will be remade, but already, like you were touching on, these last two picks, the B4 and the B5, really bring together this NFG Esports draft, right? Because there's already there's so much poke coming out from the Leona, not Leona. What am I saying? This Nidalee and this Jin, yeah.
But as they quickly go back through the bans, it won't take too long to get through it. But you're right, they did have a lot of poke heavy on the side of NFG, but it was like one of those things where Iceborn has to really play the team fights quickly because they don't want to get poked out in between. But NFG has the luxury of being able to play it both ways, whether they want to play it slow and allow their poke heavy champions to poke them down, or if they just want to hard engage into it with the Malphite and the Braum, and just to really get in and disrupt team fights.
Yeah, and I feel like all it takes for Iceborn Winners Queue's comp to fall apart is a good TP flank from Freshburger. He comes in with the Unstoppable Onslaught, I believe that's the name. Knocks up the back line, and even though the Kindred ult can come out to prevent some of the damage that'll follow up, you still have the current call opening up and be doing a ton of damage with that percent missing health damage that he will have with those shots. But otherwise, the Lucian pick is, again, something that I feel like is very good. Lucian is definitely an incredibly strong pick, so it's always great to see him coming out, doing some very reasonable damage to these mages, especially on Syndra, who... No, sorry, what?
I said, and he's going to be able to. Like, currently, what I'm looking at when I'm once again looking at Iceborn's team comp, they're kind of missing a decent amount of, like, magic damage. Although Maokai is, like, a full magic damage champion, he's not exactly, like, the big high burst champion. And same with Leona, also dealing a decent amount of magic damage, which you're not looking for at those two champions to be damage carries. So it's, like, it's going to be relatively easy to itemize against them this game.
Well, yeah, it's... I feel like, even though, like I said, Maokai is just so incredibly, like this Maokai, this Braum pick, like you mentioned, this front line really ties together, and especially into this very AD heavy comp. Like Tabbies here are already just going to be crazy good, because of all the auto attack damage. Basically, all of the damage coming out will be auto attacked, apart from the culling and the bullet time. So already this Maokai is going to be able to stack a lot of armor and become very hard to kill, so something like I think we're going to see very early Last Whisper items coming out from both the mid laner and the bottom laner on the side of Iceborn Winners Queue.
I wouldn't put it past them. But with 2 minutes left, 2.5 minutes left on the spectator delay, we do have plenty to still get into. And one of the things that I like to do with not just the casters, but a lot of the viewers as well, is I like to ask if a very specific question, and it goes kind of like this. I wonder if I still remember it. If you were a resident of Runeterra, right? If you lived in the realm of League of Legends, from where would you hail from? It's like, where would you be from?
Oh, well, I feel like I'd be very Piltover, and I've already got like the steampunk. I've already got a pretty steampunky look. I do. I've got the messed up hair or whatever. And anyway, Piltover is just such a fun region. I feel you've got like Caitlyn and Ezreal are pretty cool champions. What about you?
Me, I always the last couple times I've asked this, I've actually forgotten my where I would come from, because it's really funny when we're talking about it, because it's like I've gone through Ionia several times, and I've gone through Demacia several times, but then I'm like, wait, no, I would be from Mount Targon for sure, because it's just like I kind of have like this I have a little bit of a god complex. I'll admit it. So obviously I feel like I'd be an aspect of some sort that comes from there. So that's where I'd be, if anything. If not, I would definitely be one of the people who hail one of these gods anyway, or aspects as they call them.
Definitely. Well, anyway, as we've got less than around 40 seconds into get on the spectator delay, I think it's just very important to call out, Iceborn Winners Queue. They're one of our newer teams. We haven't seen any of them in our games, I don't believe. However, NFG Esports is a bit of a combination of some of our teams. There's some Trigger Happy, there's some players from Trigger Happy, and some other guys. So it'll be good to see if they're able to play how we saw them before.
And we want to give a quick shout out to Windsor Tort, because I can speak English, I swear, for the 5 gifted subs.
Yeah, very generous. We appreciate you showing up and cheering along in chat to this game.
And I see some Shadow Isles in chat. I want to know where a lot of you guys are coming from in the audience, because I only see some Shadow Isles so far.
I mean, Shadow Isles is always a pretty sick place, isn't it? You've got a bunch of ghosts.
Karth, you'll be hanging out with Karthus, Mordekaiser, Elise. And a lot of those Yorick for sure. A lot of dreary champions, not fun to be around. I'm sure.
I mean, Yorick seems like he'd be pretty fun to chill with. You know, he seems like a nice guy. Just like, you know, he seems like he's a tsundere. You know, he's like he pretends he doesn't want to have a. He doesn't like hanging around with you, but you know, it's lonely with ghosts. I feel.
Oh yes, of course.
But anyway, we're getting right into the game, and anyway, looking at the runes, nothing out of the ordinary. Very similar runes. We're seeing 3 press attacks on the side of Iceborn Winners Queue, so a lot of attacks shall be pressed today. I feel like that may hinder them a bit in these team fights, as I don't believe it will stack. But otherwise, nothing out of the ordinary. We'll just see the teams get into both teams get into 5 points. Just trying to watch out for any shenanigans or invades going down early levels.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, we'll see. Onihan immediately puts down the mark onto. Sorry, Onihan immediately has the mark put down onto him. So, as most kindreds do, you know, you don't want to give up any information over the jungler and let them know that you're planning any ganks. So, good play from Taldog, just making sure to let people just not give any information that he doesn't need to over to the team.
Yep, it's a very, very simple, very easy start. Nothing too crazy, you know. And if you are a veteran of the ALS chat, then you know that I'm a very big proprietor, however you want to say it, of the 5-point start, because we didn't see a whole lot of them throughout the first 2 splits. But it's just like, it's one of those things, because the level 1 shenanigans are always really something. Like, let's look, like, even looking down in the bot lane right now, some
Exactly.
Trading.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw some trading in the tri-brush, and already we'll see that the early push will be picked up by by the side of NFG, though. We do see Fishbait getting chunked out very hard by these double-up crits. They do a lot of damage if they do manage to kill the minion that they target. And otherwise, level 2 is going to get picked up most likely by the side of NFG. And otherwise, a very normal start.
Yep, something worth noting is that both junglers did start without a leash, so that's how you can tell this is definitely a higher tiered game. Because it's like, generally speaking, you don't see that until you start getting into more organized and like super high elo stuff. Definitely.
And also, it's worth drawing attention that they both started on the same side of the map. They both started on top side, so they'll most likely be pathing down to bot side. We do see Taldog does just pick up the red buff, clears his Gromp and blue buff, and then go to the wolves. So actually pathing up towards top side, I assume trying to set up a gank there, while we do see Onihan starting to head bot lane after picking up his red.
And this is some really odd pathing from Taldog. Like, you don't usually see that kind of like repathing back up, but it works out, and it leaves the enemy team on their toes. Like, they don't know where they're gonna gank from, especially without any information on it. Like, even looking now, like
yeah, it's definitely odd, but I feel like it might, like, even though the pathing was odd, I think he is making the correct play, pathing towards topside, because you do have a much easier lane to gank with this Maokai, who does have the point-and-click route on his kit, so it does set you up for much easier ganks, as he does pick up the Scuttle Crab, and we'll start heading mid lane. I assume just trying to see if he can steal away some camps.
Taldog's not going to be able to find anything, but it is worth mentioning that here in the mid lane we see the Javelin Toss getting launched onto a minion at point blank range. So Chancer Lemon's going to walk away with his life, being able to put some damage back down. A lot more mana being used on Darkana.
He does manage to dodge away from the spear, from the Javelin Toss, so a good play by him, making sure to avoid any of the extra damage that might come from those spears, which, although they don't do as much damage that they are going to do once after Nuli picks up the Runic Echoes enchant, it is still going to be quite a lot of damage early game.
And like,
I'd like to lose your attention. Oh wait, sorry, no. You
no,
continue.
no, because I wanted to bring some attention to the way that the Towel Dog path there, because the mark was on the bottom Scuttle Crab, so it was like a little interesting to see that they pathed away from it.
Yeah.
Just trying not to run into the Nidalee there.
Yeah, the Scuttle Crab RNG was not on his side, as we're gonna see some trading in the bottom lane.
Another big fight coming down. Towel Dog kind of just running in there and dying for that. And it seems as though the fight's not over yet. The Javelin Toss does land on, and Red Saturn, forced to flash away, might still not get away with it.
Flash forward.
Javelin Toss goes wide.
We're seeing two very low health bars on the side of the bottom laners.
The Deadly Flourish does
connects. Yeah, and that's two quick kills picked up onto the Nidalee, and that's really who you want to have these kills on, right? Because Nidalee, she skills so hard. She's got the Javelin Toss that's going to do so much damage to these squishies. And yeah, I mean, it's... Oh, we're going to see a pause come out. But yeah, great. Two quick kills picked up.
Very good stuff.
Yeah.
To start us off with the pause, I'm assuming someone may have disconnected. Is there maybe a problem? I would assume that is Towel Dog from the way that...
I believe... yeah, we're seeing
Towel Dog kind of walked into that.
Yeah, some slight lag, I believe. But anyway, quickly looking over the items, right? We're seeing the Catalyst of the Eons picked up on Neon Fire on this Maokai. He is going to picking up those extra stats to just make this lane, just be able to spam out and get the extra health, get extra mana, and otherwise, I think I do see the Fairy Charm on Zarkana, so it may be the Seraph's Embrace that we often see coming out on a lot of these mid lane mages. It might just be picked up because you didn't have any gold for anything else, but you never know. We could see some fun new builds here.
Yeah, although it wouldn't be a new build, because like the tier items in general have been pretty strong for a while. Zarkana getting engaged on from Lemon actually being able to pick up the kill, taking way too much damage from the culling and not immediately flashing away.
Just an excellent use of that level 6 power spike. They both hit at the same time, but Chancer's just able to get in there with the dash, immediately pop the culling, and get so much damage onto Zarkana, who hasn't picked up basically any armor or anything to make this lane easier. So a point blank culling does do quite a bit of damage,
and like fully charged too. Took pretty much all of it.
Anyway. Oh yeah, we're seeing the Manamune on the Lucian, which is something that it was popularized, back in the LEC, and it's such a great build. I feel less valuable on the bottom lane Lucian, who you don't really use it that much. However, it's so strong on this mid lane Lucian, who can just get it stacked up very quickly, get that Mirror Mana spike, and just be a threat in the side lanes.
Because Mirror Mana hasn't been an item in question for some time.
Yeah, Mirror Mana is quite the strong item.
But we do see bot lane meeting each other again out in the mid lane with Titania with quite a strong posture, but Chancer able to pick up that mid lane plate.
He just grabs that real quick. That's the extra 180 gold. Always nice to have. Especially once you pick up the kill. And Towel Dog does path towards the blue buff. It is, however, already been taken, so he doesn't get any value in that, and we'll just recall to, I assume, finish up that warrior enchant, or pick up the 2 longswords for the Caulfield's Warhammer.
Not quite the gold there to finish off the warrior enchant, being down about 700 gold due to that double kill on the Nidalee.
Oh yeah, the first blood and the double kill does give quite a lot, as the Phoenix Codex is picked up, and already we're seeing a bit of a lot of a gold lead coming out on the side of, well no, it's not a gold lead, but they're even a CS lead, sorry, coming out from Iceborn Winners Queue. It's mainly coming from this mid lane, Chancellor Lemon is up almost 20 CS on Zarkana, which does usually happen with this mid lane Lucian. He does get some work done early levels.
It seems like NFG will be looking to see if they can pick up this early dragon, able to shove the lane in, and it will, because Towel not even pathing down towards it.
And early dragons are always very nice to pick up, especially into this, especially with this into this comp, because you don't really want to give them any chance, any foot ground in this really hard engage comp, because if you just like let them get it. If you let them, you know, set up, get these dragons and give them setup to these objectives, they will just destroy you. They throw down the solar flare, Maokai throws down, Maokai roots some guys, the bullet time comes out, and you're just going to take way too much damage. And we're seeing a gold lead around 3k or so. 3k. 300. I am bad at math. Anyway, 300 lead on Iceborn Winners Queue, which is coming from these CS leads that we're seeing in both solo lanes. And it's really interesting because we've basically been able to equalize the 400 gold that Nidalee did get with that first blood from just these CS leads that we're seeing. These discrepancies, you know, we've been seeing Lucian basically getting permanently getting the push in this lane, which is something that we do often see. And so he is able to pick up the CS lead. As Lost Captain picked up.
Yep, and it's odd not seeing Chancellor like, oh wait, spot lane fight breaking out. We're able to actually pick up Fishbait down there. Teleport coming in, and Beyond Godly will not be able to get away from that, but with Freshburger picking up the kill.
I mean, yeah, but that's what we were talking about, right? You throw down the solar flare, you throw down the bullet time, and they're just going to take way too much damage, right? And even though they do end up even in kills, they did burn, you know, they burned the Malphite teleport, the Gentile, you know, while they did lose the Leona Flash, I feel like you take that trade any day, considering that the Malphite teleport is such a valuable tool for these team fights to allow them to get flashes and to get flanks and other stuff.
Yeah, and although I do agree with you, like the dragon has already been taken and it will not be back up for another 3-ish minutes, so the teleport won't be up for that dragon, but it might be up for a little while depending on how the state of the game is, seeing as how it's still very even on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen any of the teams particularly super fighting for these dragons, right? The last one was taken at around 8 minutes, so there were like 3 minutes where nobody was super fighting. Oh, on the subject of fighting. But yeah, so unless Iceborn Winners Queue does super hard commit onto this next dragon, which was coming up in a few minutes, I don't know if they'll be able to punish the teleport.
Instantly popping Beyond Godly's Leona there, despite having the Eclipse on. Flash flying out from Titania, not jumping in quite far enough, but still able to escape with his life with 4 members of Iceborn down here. The Lamb's Breastplate is burned, which means someone might die now.
I mean, that's a very flood. Oh, Curtain Call comes out.
Onahan missing the spear onto Neon Fire here, but it doesn't even matter.
Neon Fire gets the kill, wow. But yeah, I mean,
do some damage. Not quite getting any, but it seems as though the fight will finally maybe be breaking off with Red Saturn down to about 150 HP.
Yeah, I mean, Neon Fire TP's in, you know, throws down the ultimate and does manage to make it even in kills, but otherwise, I mean, a pretty. Oh wow, Chancellor Lemon is getting very aggressive. Flash forward.
Able to pick up a double kill with the grenade.
Oh, you hate to see it. Tries to get away from the. He tries to get away, but he brings the grenade to his bot laner. That is definitely not.
Swing.
Yeah, and I mean they do pick up the. Taldog does throw down the Rift Herald and pick up that first turret in mid lane, which actually, I mean, I feel like that isn't even that bad for the side of NFG Esports. Like, you kind of want that mid lane turret to go down so your Syndra is able to farm a bit freer. She can set up a mid freeze in front of her tower and basically just chill out here and farm a lot safer because Lucian will need to overextend to try to punish her.
And a wet noodle fight happening up in the top lane. But though it is worth mentioning that Freshburger wasn't in that fight at all, so he was able to pick up some plates for himself, able to now to come back with a kill and plenty of CS and plates to really start putting some pressure down on Neon Fire. Although
Definitely.
not really any kill pressure, but is able to force the turrets a bit with the
Solar
dragon
Flare
coming up
down.
in another 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Dragon's coming up very soon, and that's just gonna allow NFG Esports to just quickly transition into picking up the Dragon right here. As they do get the kill, they do pick up the 2 kills in bot lane, meaning that they won't have much pressure. That as this Mountain Dragon comes up, they'll just quickly pick it up and start sacking up those dragons.
And the fight will happen without the top laners, or the dragon will happen without either top laners able to participate, with Onahan really just going in and sneaking it while everyone's pushed up.
Oh, you know what? You love to see it. You know what? We had the chance of getting the Cloud Soul, which, you know, pretty lame, but now we're actually seeing something fun. Infernal Soul.
What is with people and like not valuing Cloud Souls? I love Cloud Soul.
Yeah, Cloud Soul's fun, but you know, it's always a lot funner to just blow people up with Infernal Soul, right?
I don't know. I like being able to be like a Malphite, for example, with Cloud Soul and just ult in and then run out.
Actually, yeah, Malphite. Yeah, I mean, Cloud Soul is very nice on on this Malphite in particular. He can flash ult in, then just start running in there, and so yeah, I mean, Cloud Soul would be nice, but we are going to see the Infernal Soul, which, you know, is a lot nicer.
Not to mention
however,
you can also lose top tower because
That's true.
Talbot came up here to really pressure Freshburger off of it. So now that's 2 towers to 0 in the favor of Iceborn.
And one thing I want to quickly draw attention to is look at the gold, right? I mean, NFG is up 6 kills, but they're only up 100 gold. And that's just because of this 20 CS lead in mid, and these 2 towers that they picked up. You have a ton of gold from that first tower, and from picking up that second top tower. So that's just good plays all around from Iceborn Winners Queue. They don't allow themselves to get discouraged, and they do manage to keep the gold close.
All of the ultimates are available currently if they want to fight over this Rift Herald. They know that they are doing this Rift Herald. Mid laner is not available for this fight, but they seem to just be giving it up.
Yeah, I mean, Teleport just comes off of cooldown. Actually, no, is available for Chancellor Lemon if he does want to come in, but it is also available for Zarkana. So both mid laners could come in. Oh, some fighting going down.
Not a whole lot happening, just a Red Saturn being forced to flash heal out. No summoner spells being blown on the side of NFG. Standing a little bit too close to everybody will do that.
Actually, I think that's the flash burn. Yeah, I think it's Nidalee and Malphite both burn their flashes for that kill. I think.
No, they do. They wanted it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was actually engaged off of the Unstoppable Force.
Yeah, the flash R from Malphite. As that's a very quick pick that the culling does manage to pick up.
And it's like you can't like underestimate Lucian here. Like Lucian had Chancer has the full Manamune, and that has quite a few stacks on it. It's almost a little further than half stacked alongside the Caulfield Warhammer. Like that's a lot of the AD that's on that Lucian right now.
Definitely, yeah. And also look at the boot choice from Zarkana. He opts in for those pen boots, opting for combat sets. However, apart from getting maybe an armor shard in his runes, he has absolutely no armor apart from the armor shard that he's likely taken, and just the base armor. So Lucian's going to be doing so much damage, especially as he picks up this Essence Reaver. So hopefully we'll see some armor picked up. Maybe I would have maybe liked to see something like an early Seekers coming out. Would have been a lot nicer for the landing phase. But otherwise, we'll just see relatively a bit of a lull state here. The Dragon is coming up very soon, and that will put NFG Esports on the Soul Point, which is very much not as much of a win condition as something like an Ocean Soul would be, but Infernal Soul is always definitely going to be nice. It'll definitely help you win a bit, at least.
And it seems as though there's a lot of attention is being divided around the map. We do see the Dragon coming up with another 46 seconds. Teleport are available from both top laners and both mid laners, so it's very easy for a very quick fight to break out using a bunch of summoner spells.
Definitely.
There's still no flashes available from Freshburger, Onehan, and Red Saturn. So if Freshburger gets in a position to use the Unstoppable Force and actually land it on the Red Saturn, it could spell a big problem for Iceborn. The curtain call happens. 2, 3, fourth shot landing, quite some damage. Deadly Flourish missing. Just, I guess, scouting to put down some damage before this Dragon starts.
Yeah, I mean,
Dragon is up at 10 seconds, and a lot is still happening.
Thing about Malphite is that, you know, Misfortune needs to stay still for that bullet time, so you can just come in from behind and get the Unstoppable Onslaught on her. And actually, wait, that's the wrong ult, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's the Scion ult, isn't it? But anyway, yeah, pop the ultimate, and you can just basically one-shot her. Even though you have built full tank, you're still going to do quite a bit of damage. And
Fight freaking out, bullet flip coming down, bullet time going out, no shield from Braum. Braum comes up late, still taking quite a bit of damage. Lem's Dresser goes out, and the fight is turning quickly on its head despite not having Lemon in it. Another fourth shot.
Huge bullet time, but now I think we'll see.
Landing, a lot more disruption coming from Neon. Neon will not escape with his life, but although Iceborn did grab the first Infernal Dragon of the game, they are limping away from this fight, losing both Lemon and Neon Fire to that, while only trading Zarkana back in return.
Definitely, well, it's a great use of the bullet time from Red Saturn. They just take down more members, and yeah, I mean, look at this Jhin. He's already got the Infinity Edge, got the Zeal, opts into these Ninja Tabbies since there's very little magic damage threat on the other side. And very quickly, I just want to say, I really like the Black Cleaver coming out from Taldog. He's going to be just getting that passive down onto these guys who are opting into so much armor. It's just going to be very nice for them to pick up. You know, the armor shred will definitely be nice for Red Saturn and Chancellor Lemon to reduce at least some of the armor stack that will be coming out.
And although I think it is worth noting that a lot of the bullet time of Red Saturn's bullet time did get blocked by Braum, although the second half of it got blocked, but I don't know if it was clearly still very, very potent there. So it's like you still have to be very careful, even with the Braum.
Yeah, I mean, Braum soaks a lot of that damage with the door, but yeah, I mean, even though Misfortune even though Red Saturn's only picked up the Essence Root, he's still going to be doing quite a bit of damage if he manages to land all of those waves onto some of the squishies, or if Titania is taken out early in the fight, or if he's forced to use the shield defensively, he will just not be able to protect his backline from the bullet time, or be forced to tank it himself. And even though he is very tanky, you don't really just want to face tank a bullet time ever.
And it's Braum's job to do that in team fights, because that's his entire purpose, is to block the bullet time, to block the culling, and make sure that a lot of those projectiles are not hitting his backline. Because if he can keep the backline alive, keep the Nidalee and Zarkana, and well, really just Zarkana and Fishbait, because Onahan's going to be in and out.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I mean, there's so much armor stack already that if you're just able to like wait out the bullet time, those tabbies are going to start doing a lot of work, and just that huge reduction, the 12% reduction on basic attacks is going to do so much work if you manage to wait out the culling, wait out the bullet time, and then you'll just end up winning, because the fact of the matter is, Iceborn Winners Queue drafted themselves into a hole. You know, I think they just forgot the need for magic damage, and they're just going to. This Malphite comes out, he's so huge against these all-AD comps. Tabbies on basically every member, apart from Zarkana and Onihan. But yeah, I think this next dragon is going to be very important to look at, because these Infernal Drakes are always going to be very nice to pick up on either side, but that will put NFG Esports on Soul Point if they do pick it up, and that's going to force a fight that I don't know if, like, a fight is going to be forced here, and I'm not sure if Iceborn Winners Queue can really afford to take it.
Yep, and it's one of those things where you have to still notice that the gold difference is still about the same. Like, it's about even. It's like a 500, 700 gold difference. It changes a lot, but it's like currently around a 700 gold difference. But it's not really enough to really decide team fights right now. So it's gonna still come down to how each of these teams use their ultimates and use the picks that they have to block or to engage and really explode people. Especially when you're looking at Zarkana with the unleashed power, it's very easy to pop somebody like Red Saturn, to pop somebody like Lemon, especially once she has one more item. Because the GLP is out there to make it very easy to hit skill shots and slow the entire team if needed, and the Zhonya's is finished, so there's definitely plenty of damage to get it done.
Definitely, I mean, has the flash available, could like flash RE, get a huge stun the Zhonya's to prevent any of the follow-up, any of the damage that's going to come out. And then
Dragon is spawning.
Yeah, this is going to be a very big fight, I feel, because yeah, like you pointed, there's not a huge gold lead. It's around like 800, I'd say. Alright, Muramana is complete on Chancellor Lemon, though.
TP coming in, a lot of abilities being thrown out left and right. The culling coming from over the wall, and they were able to steal the dragon. On top of a force knocks up.
That's huge. I mean, yeah, the culling from behind gets us so much damage on to Onihan. Chancellor Lemon will be killed here, but he does pick up that 800 gold, from the Nidalee kill. And
NFG is just like limping away from this fight.
Exactly, it's just like you said. You know, even though they were up very, very, very far up in kills. There's just so much gold from these towers, so much gold from these CS discrepancies that we're seeing in the lanes, that they're just able to turn this fight very quickly. A great TP from Chancellor Lemon. He does pick up the kill, does help secure that dragon, and now they're turning on to the Baron.
I'm having some deja vu. Like, I've seen this game before.
Yeah, I mean, they're just gonna they definitely have. There's a huge swing in momentum here. We do see an almost around 1.5k gold swing right now, or around 2k, I'd say, because they were down 800. Now they're up around 3k. So yeah, the Baron gives them so much damage. Nidalee doesn't go for the steal. And yeah, I mean, great plays from Iceborn Winners Queue. I was saying that this game was going to be very hard to win, but I think they're doing enough to win it.
Because this just goes to show, like, even if you mess it up a little bit earlier, you go down in kills, it's still very easy to turn games around.
And I mean, this is exactly why we were talking about both NFG Esports and Iceborn Winners Queue being such good teams. This is why we were talking about it being such a value, this being like such a hype first game. You know, they're performing so well. I mean, even though Iceborn Winners Queue does have a much weaker draft, they're still winning these fights despite that, from just great positioning, great use of the teleport and of the ultimates.
Yeah, I think as far as like the last fight goes, like they just NFG just didn't pull the trigger fast enough. Like they knew that they saw the Lucian up there in the top lane and gave him more than enough time to teleport in and make things happen. Definitely.
I mean, I think if they somehow managed to cancel that teleport, I don't think there was anybody in range to. But that teleport was just such a huge swing in the fight. And now Iceborn Winners Queue will just push in. Oh,
the Force of Will is able to keep up with Lamb's Respite, not enough to take anybody down or to keep people alive. As we drop down Zarkana, as Titania also gets dropped down, but I misspoke. That Dog's the Lamb's Respite was more than enough to keep people alive there.
Yeah, I mean, Lamb's Respite negates a lot of that negates a lot of the burst from the unleashed power. And yeah, I mean, great use from Taldog, keeps himself alive, and then is able to turn that into a kill, onto 2 kills actually, with using those ultimates.
Yeah, the what was like a 2,000 gold lead on Wanhan, it was one of those things where it's like even if you have that gold, like if you're not landing the spears on Nidalee, it's not gonna pay out for you.
Definitely. And the Warden's Mail is picked up is on Malphite. I would like to see something like a Randuin's Omen here, because there's so much crit being built up by all three of the main damage threats on the side of Iceborn Winners Queue that you'll just be able to... I will stop because there's a fight going down, but yeah. But yeah, you're able to negate so much of that.
As well. Forcing out Zarkan's Flash, as well as... I think that's the only summon spell that was blown there, just in both the top and the bot fights. Just too tanky to deal with up there from Neon Fire, having 3 completed items, 2 of them being MR items, so it really negates the damage coming from the majority of NFG. Yeah,
and I mean, the Solar Flare is going to be, I believe, it will come up before this dragon starts to spawn, and this is definitely going to be a very big fight. Even though no team will get soul from this, I mean, already look at the dragon stack from the side of Iceborn Winners Queue. Two dragons, that's plus 8% AD and ability power. If they get 3, that's going to be so much extra damage from just these. Like, yes, you've got the Ocean Dragon, you've got the armor. Those are both very nice, especially on some. The armor is always nice on somebody like Malphite, but there's just so much damage from these 2 Infernal Drakes that, you know, I mean, if they get another one, like, that's just gonna be so
the dragon is started here. Solar Flare comes down, doesn't stun anybody. Leona down here in the back line. Lamb's Respite not quite popped yet, and it's not even needed. There's too much focus on the dragon. They are able to pick up the dragon, and they're limping away from yet another fight. Really trying to pull up on these, but with 3 members of NFG down, do they chase or do they go for the Baron here?
Well, I mean, the Baron isn't up. This is definitely gonna allow them to set up for Baron really well. You know, even though Onihan is alive, there's 30 seconds on Zarkana. And they will be able to transition this team fight win into something like a Baron, get some vision. Oh,
able to just land. That was literally
wow.
That was just to make it rain. The slow from the make it rain, which is I believe 50% slow. Where right now, yeah, 50% slow.
I think so.
Actually did so much.
Just right clicked him and he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing with Jhin. No mobility, no escapes, so you land to make it rain on him. You can't really get away.
A big unstoppable force coming out. Solar Flare, Lamb's Respite coming out. No one's gonna be dying today. No Unbreakable to stop the misfortune, the bullet time here, and they get swept here in that fight.
The Lamb's Respite there was really good there. Like, just the ultimate synergy there, that's going to be the win for Iceborn Winners Queue, and that's just them playing incredibly well. They don't even need to use the Lucian ultimate, because just the bullet time, just the synergy of the ults, they keep themselves alive and take down NFG Esports. So, already.
And over and over and over again. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's more we see from Iceborn, because even like right there, it's like you can see how well that they synergize together, because it's like over and over and over again. It's the Lamb's Respite that came in clutch in every single one of these fights. Whether you're doing that, and since you already had the lead on Lucian, you always have the insurance on the misfortune. It was very easy to keep the key players alive with the Lamb's Respite, despite whether it just needed to be for themselves.
Definitely.
Like they did in the mid lane fight that broke out there, that ended up in the Baron, or if it was at the Dragon Pit, which is keeping them alive over and over again to just drag out these fights and negate the burst damage coming from the side of NFG.
I mean, yeah, that was just an all-around great game from both teams. You know, we saw a huge, just a huge swing in momentum, I think, that just left NFG Esports very far behind. You know, they win that fight, they pick up Baron, and the gold graph there is just like, it just goes like very, very big switch indeed.
Because it stayed the same for about the same for the entirety of the game until that one big team fight where they really swung it in their direction and took that dragon.
Definitely. And even though Iceborn Winners Queue does draft themselves into a bit of a hole, they do lack magic damage, they are able to just outplay NFG Esports, win those team fights that matter, and in the end, secure this win and secure themselves a win, their first win of groups.
But that will do it for our very first game of NFG versus Iceborn. So we will be seeing NFG right back here against Mortal Will in a few minutes. We are going to cut to a quick break, and we will get right back to you.
Adios.